Hi, BookTube. Welcome to Jackie's Literary Corner. I am Jackie, and I'm going to talk about my goals and elaborate more on them. I did mention them a little bit in my favorites video, which, don't worry, this one, if you watch my favorites video, this one will not be interrupted by me chowing on food or reacting to my mom coming home because I'm technically not supposed to have food up here in my room because she doesn't want to deal with the mess and the possibility of ants being in my room. This one, I'm filming this early and I've already eaten my breakfast and stuff, so I'm all good there. And I hope you guys didn't mind that video. I wish I could. I don't know how to edit, as I've said a million times before, and I don't have the patience to learn, and I need help. I need someone to go over it with me and to be with me when I'm teaching me how to edit, and I don't have the patience to figure it out on my own. I would not be able to figure it out on my own. So, maybe one day I'll have less videos like that, and videos that are a little more edited and nicer and less improvised. I did remember to text the people that would normally interrupt me while I'm filming, through text message, or like my dad letting me know that he's home because, he works early in the morning at the golf course. I finally remembered to text them and let them know I'm filming, so do not interrupt me with letting me know you're home, or Terry texting me to, respond to me responding to her. Because actually, she showed me that she was using one of my Christmas gifts that I got her. So, which is great. It's awesome, It's one of those more gifts that you can use in everyday life, actually. It was a Hufflepuff mug because her Hogwarts house is a Hufflepuff. And she was showing me that she was using it. So I, responded, of course, and she would probably respond too. So I let her know, I'm filming right now. So I hope she gets what that means. Now, I don't know about my computer, though, because sometimes I get messages on my computer that might interrupt me. But anyway, so let's talk about my goals, or elaborate more on them, because I did mention them briefly at the end of the year book tag video. So now I'm going to elaborate more on them. So first, before I get into that, I'm going to talk to you. I decided to do something different with my rating of books. And I wrote it down on this piece of paper. First, I'm not going to use the star rating system anymore on Goodreads. It was more of it was kind of a silly reason why, because I did start to realize how the star rating, first, I kind of agree with people that half stars would be nice, but I don't think Goodreads is going to do that, allow that, and change that. I mean, a lot of people say that Goodreads, the reason why they don't like Goodreads is because of things that they complain, there's things that they don't like the not having half stars and other things where they have trouble, and the app on your phone does not match the website, which I know it has to be smaller, but it's not about being smaller. It's it's hard to pin down, but if that's one of your complaints and you know what I'm talking about, if you get the app on your iPhone, or I don't know if you can get the app. I'm assuming you can get the app on the other types of phones too, because not everybody has an iPhone. It's just But I know that a lot of people, that's one of the things that they complain about. And and sometimes it takes too long to upload, and the website is constantly overloaded with people. So they have to be like, oh, we're sorry, we're overloaded, so we're going to have to kick you out. Or, you can't always find, unless you type the exact every word in the title perfectly, you're not going to find the exact copy. And every book is a different edition, and sometimes, especially if you shop at an used bookstore, that edition might be older. That edition of that book might be older, or it might not even have a dust jacket. If it's a hardback book. It might be a naked hardback book, so it's hard to find the exact book. And if you don't find the exact edition, then you won't get the exact number of pages. I don't know if it's like that with every book, but I know I've always had that problem personally. If I don't find the exact copy that I have, then I might not get the right amount of pages, and that annoys me, because I want to get the exact number of pages. and it's very irritating. So, and I've noticed I definitely noticed the flaws of Goodreads. I just like to keep track of my reading, and I like doing the Goodreads goal. And sometimes, and the quizzes are kind of fun. They have a bunch of literary quizzes, although I haven't done one lately. And I participate in some of the groups on there. I'm not super active, but as active as which it might be a good thing because it lessens my time on social media. But so I use the star ratings because for visual purposes, like I liked the visual scene and also seeing my star rating and the way it was organized originally because I've noticed it's changed and since the last because I apparently there was one time where I think they did update the website a little bit, but probably not the way people would want them to update and change it. But I think they did update it a little bit. It did change, and now when you click on the Goodreads challenge, the books that you read, it's set up differently where they just list the books, the images of the books. But originally it had rows of the books you read, and beside it they were organized in what the star rating you gave it. And I would look, and if I was at the used bookstore, I would read the 3-star ratings because that's kind of middle ground. I feel like that's kind of neutral where you don't love it but you don't hate it either. Like you think it's a decent book, but it's not like the best book ever. It helps, I would look at those reviews to determine if I was going to spend the money. Granted, it's not it's not that expensive at the Roast Office bookstore, but still, it's the only bookstore that I will actually read the ratings, go to Goodreads and read the ratings. And that's also partly because Books A Million is really, first of all, there's no place to really sit and look at my phone to check the ratings. I mean, there's a bench. Again, I've said this before, there is that bench in the back. But, I mean, that doesn't even have a back to it. It's, and then it's just if you want to quickly sit down and look through something. And then it's a small store, so there's not really a chance to sit down and look at my phone, and the internet sucks there. I can never get access to if I'm trying to remember the name of a book. I can't go on the internet and look it up because the signal sucks over there. And then there's the other 2 bookstores, the other used bookstore that I use. I haven't really looked up things, but I usually know what I want, what I'm gonna, But it's a small store, so there's not much to look for. Not as many things to look at. Like I know where each shelf I want to look at when I go there, which, I go to the classics shelf or the fantasy sci-fi shelves. And then sometimes the last time I went, I did look at the, YA children's section. There's a little corner with shelves for, young adult books and children's books. And then, but there are places where I can actually sit down. There's like nice armchairs where I could sit down and look at my phone. I don't know. I haven't tried the signal though yet. I don't know if the signal for the internet works there. And then the country bookshop, it might have places to sit, but it's also a small store. So again, I don't look at my phone to just determine. Usually I know what I want to get, and I have a better chance of finding what I want to get at that one, even though it's a small store. And the YA section is basically 3 shelves of books against a wall. It's not like a big display or anything. Like the classics shelf is a little bit bigger, but I also don't look at the classics there. I usually go to the fantasy or the YA section to. But anyway, long story short, so the Roast Dump is the only place where I actually will look at the ratings and determine if I'm going to buy a book. It's also partly because that one, there's less of a chance I'm going to find something that I really want, I'm really super excited about, I always use, let's say, Stephen King, and, I was even talking to Lisa about this, and she said that people don't want to bring in their Stephen King books anyway, and considering the situation we're in right now, they're not taking donated books, so it doesn't have a biggest. And I thought about going today because I'm off today, and this is when it's opened. But again, there's not a lot there to look at. I don't know if I would even find anything. I mean, I might. I probably would find at least something. But anyway, so long story short, I'm not gonna use the star rating system anymore. I'm just gonna try to write a really good review, write a good, thorough review as best I can. I'm not very good at it though, I feel like, and sometimes I particularly struggle with summing up the plots of books as well. But so sometimes I will get straight to actually reviewing the book and just be like, oh, Goodreads gives you a description of what the book is about. Not always. Like for some classics, they don't. And sometimes they say, oh, this is the greatest book ever because, So I try to give reviews, give summaries in the reviews, but I'm not very good at it. I feel like it's hard to simplify in a couple sentences. And then I struggle with reviews. But I want to work on it and do better. Like I don't know if it was 2018 or 2019 where I tried to write my reviews and write them out, write more thorough reviews, and take notes and stuff in a notebook. Not the one that I show you on the which I'm hoping is a thumbnail. But I tried to do that, and it just wasn't. I was not doing a good job at it and organizing it and stuff like that. So I want to try that again, but I want to do a better job at it. And I am going to do a sort of 5-star thing, not actual stars, but just numbers. Like 1 is the worst book, the worst book ever, which there probably won't be any really number, maybe 1 or 2 number ones, although probably really none. None of them are going to be 1 ratings. But yeah, worst book, and then 10 being an all-time favorite. And I will be looking at world building, characters, writing style, and enjoyment level. So that's world building, like how much detail is put into describing things like the setting, the culture, the history, the government, the beliefs, if it's a whole other world, that is. And just that, I guess that's really it for world building. Can I understand the world, I guess, and does it make sense to me? And I don't mean, and is it something that, it doesn't like I said, I guess as long as it makes sense. If it makes sense to me. And then characters, are the characters believable? Can I picture these characters with are the descriptions are good? And do the characters interest me? So do they, even if they're not likable people, do they still intrigue me? Okay, and then writing style. Can I comprehend the writing style? Is it flowery or is it more simple and straightforward? And is it easy for me to read? So that's the writing style. And then I tried to kind of describe what each number represents, but I had a little hard time with it. I said 1 is a book that I hated and DNF'd permanently. Because yes, if Terry, you're watching this, some DNFs aren't going to be permanent. But most of the time, if I DNF a book, then it's permanent. DNF means, for me, that's permanent. But not always. Every so often. And then, so I guess it's not, going by my way of thinking, then it's not technically a DNF if I come back to it. But I don't know for sure. Put it that way. I might come back, I might not. Most of them I will know, but not all of them. I'm coming back to Treasure Island. Number 2, I might have continued with it, but it's probably a DNF. And most DNFs are because, I'm bored, or there's a few cases where I just hated the direction it went. I was very annoyed by the book 7, I think it was book 7. Yeah, book 7 of The Keeper of the Lost Cities. I was just fed up with that book, and the direction it went, and just, no disrespect to the author, what she created was great, but after a while, I was disappointed. Okay, and then number 3 is, I read it, but the book just wasn't for me. 4 is, I see potential, but 4 and 5 are kind of similar, kind of the same thing. That like that. Both 4 and 5 are basically books that I need to be more specific with 4 and 5. It's like I said, it's just hard to come up with things. I mean, I'm trying to do 1 through 10. I mean, I guess I could change it and lessen it, but I don't want to do the 5 system, 5 numbers. But 4 and 5 are both like could have done better, had potential. 5 was it's a little bit better as in it's okay. It's an okay read. 4 is a little less than okay, but it's not necessarily a book that wasn't for me. Like, oh, and well, I guess the difference with 5 is like with 4, I didn't have as much fun. It was just okay. It was very meh. And then 5 is more like I had fun with it. 6, I said I enjoyed it. It was a little more than just fun. 7 is a little closer than to being more than just fun. Like, 8 is one that, like, I know these are probably not that great, like, but it's something I need to work on. I almost need to, like, get someone to help me out, like maybe Larissa or Terry or someone, because, I mean, I would ask my parents, but this is the one thing that I don't know if they would be able to help me with. I mean, maybe they could, maybe I'm not giving them enough credit and they could help me, but I would probably, like, I'll probably message Larissa or something. Okay, so, and then 8, like I said, I loved it, but there was something that was missing. Close, and then 9 is close to an all-time favorite, and then of course 10 is an all-time favorite. Like I said, it's not a very good summing up what each number represents, and this includes like all the writing style, the enjoyment level, the characters and the world building. That those numbers also apply to that. Like I said, I think I might need a little help with that, with organizing those better. Okay, now let's get on to the actual thing that this is, the actual goals part of this. Okay, so I'm gonna, after watching Rincey Reed's video, I think, and because she pointed out how crazy 2020 was, I still do not like saying 2020, 2020, how crazy that was, and, we're not done yet. 2021 might be just as bad, or maybe only a little bit better, like improved, but maybe still not great and still unpredictable. Because some of, like, yeah, the United States might get it by the summer, but that'll be still like, 6 months of still not having it and still having to be really careful. And then the other countries around the world, they might not get it until 2022. So no one knows what 2020 is going to bring. So she was saying that maybe it's a good idea to do quarterly goals. And a lot of people have brought up this before. I know a lot of people on BookTube do this already, quarterly goals. So I decided, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do quarterly goals instead. So quarter 1 is January. I keep saying June. It's January 1st through March 31st. So I was going to read this one, but I'm going to read, because I kind of updated and changed it a little bit. I'm going to read what is in my notebook I have here. And these are just smaller versions of the annual goals I have. Okay, so let's see. I want to keep this in here, so okay, let me just move this. So first of all, I want to read more nonfiction. I struggle with that, and it's funny that November is the time when when that nonfiction readathon is, but I only read like one nonfiction book this year in November. It's still, when I'm filming this, of course, it's still 2020. So I want to change that. I mean, I did read, a little bit of nonfiction this year, just not during nonfiction November. I only read like one nonfiction book, and that was Homework, a memoir of my Hollywood years by Julie Andrews. So I want to read, but I want to read more nonfiction. So I just said because it's a genre or a category I don't normally read that often, I just said 3 nonfiction books. And I don't have a lot of nonfiction actually, or it feels like I do, but that's because a lot of my nonfiction books are big chunky books. They're 500 plus pages. I want to read the Walt Disney bio by Neil Gabler. I want to read that one, and that one's a long book. I want to get back into reading that one. I have a few shorter ones, like The Letters Between John and Abigail Adams, which that's one of those books on Goodreads that I had to make this exact word-for-word title to find that specific one that I wanted, the one that I have. And then I have H's for Hawk, which is not a long one either. Those are the only non-long ones I can think of that I have, the ones that wouldn't take me as long. But I also don't want to read those right away. I attempted to read The Letters one in November, but I ended up not pursuing it further. And that doesn't mean that I'm DNFing or I didn't like it. It was just I temporarily lost interest. But I'm still interested, I haven't completely walked away from it. I'm still going to read it. It's just, at that time, I was I didn't feel like it. So yeah, I just said 3 nonfiction, just to make a small goal, because I'm not a regular nonfiction reader. And then, next is, I want to finish at least one book from before the move here, because the 2 that I know for sure that I got before we moved to North Carolina, I had before I moved to North Carolina. The Count of Monte Cristo and American Gods. I started both of those books, and surprisingly, I'm pretty far in this one, in Count of Monte Cristo. This is how much I have to read to finish it. Of the Count of Monte Cristo. And okay, let me just make sure that wasn't not important. My phone, I could hear the little weird. Dang it! That's why I made that mess. I texted the 2 people that are most important that I'm filming, and I know that. Oh, okay. Let me just look on here. I should be able to look on here instead of having to get up. Sorry, guys. I thought I took care of this, but. Okay, so it's just Larissa, so it's just my friend Larissa. Not that she's not important, it's one that can wait. So I was thinking it might have been my dad, asking, is there anything you need me to pick up or something? Sorry about that. So I can respond to that later. Okay, where was I? So I was talking about reading books that I had before we moved here, when we were still living in Maryland. So like I said, this is as much as I need to read. And I always think about how it's going to be so weird when I finally do finish this book, because I've been reading it for so long, or since we moved here. So it's very weird, okay, so I guess some of my Stephen King books might be books that I've had before the move, I think. Possibly. I'll have to look. But yeah, so I don't have that much to read. Again, it's gonna be so weird when I finally finish it. It's just gonna be so, oh my god, I can't believe I'm done with this book, kind of thing. But yeah, I want to get that one read, and American Gods I want to read, which surprisingly doesn't look like it would take me that long, but the writing style is not gonna be. I have no problem with the writing style, but it's one of those books that it's do I want, it's one of those books where sometimes I'm just not in the mood for that kind of story. So yeah, those are the two priorities of books that I like I said, some of my Steam, now that I think about some of my Stephen King books I might have had before the move. Like Salem's Lot, for instance. I know I had that one before the move. Okay, so and then I want to reread some books as well. So I said 5 books this quarter. I want to reread 5 books. So I'm also, like, some of them are classics and some of them are, regular fantasy books. Like I want to reread Wicked by Gregory Maguire, and then Son of a Witch. And then I still gotta, and then Lion Among Men, I gotta buy that one. And then I want to finally finish the series because I never did read the last book. I read A Lion Among Men, but I did not read Out of Oz, which is the last book in that series. I need to read that one. I also want to reread the first 3 books in the Dark Tower series. I have not started. I did attempt to start the Gunslinger a while back, but I didn't follow through with that one. So, and that doesn't mean all of a sudden I changed my mind. It's just, it was not the best time for me to read that book. So I want to reread those 3 books, and then some of the classics I want to read. I want to reread Treasure. Although I never finished Treasure Island, but I want to give it another shot because I feel like I wasn't prepared for the type of writing that Treasure Island had. So I need to reread that one. And then I want to reread Wuthering Heights. And now I have my own copy of that one. That one originally I got from the library, so I have a nicer copy. Well, I mean, not fancy or anything. It's one of those just Penguin books with the Penguin paperbacks. Regular size paperback. So it's not anything like, it's not, anything really special per se. It's just the Penguin, which, yeah, that's special in its own way, but it's not like fancy or anything. It's not like those Penguin English Library editions or, the Vintage Classic edition. It's not like that. It's just more of a generic special edition, if that makes any sense. Like it's the Penguin ones. But it's still a nicer cover than the library book, which I don't even know if the library book had a cover. It might have been a plain hardback. So, I don't know if that's 5 books or not. I mean, if you count the series individually, the books in the series individually, then yeah, that could be more than 5 books, I think. But my goal is 5. So, 5 rereads. And then I'm trying to read these. It's not how I have them written down on this piece of paper, but I'm trying to read them in how I, the ones that I'm most excited, the challenges I'm most excited, goals/challenges I'm most excited to fulfill, versus the ones that I'm just, I'm still excited to fulfill them, and I hope I can, but they're not as, like, there's one in particular that is kind of the most valuable to me. And then next is that one. Like I said, I mentioned that I want to finish I didn't mention, it's 8 books that I want to finish that, I also want to finish at least 8 books that I have already started but didn't continue with, because there's a lot of books, especially my bigger 500 plus page books, where I've started the book, but then all of a sudden I get distracted by another book. Like, I don't know if if you guys have seen the meme with Dory, and, how she has memory, she can't remember things, and there's, like, all of a sudden she'll get distracted by something, like, she'll start talking about something, and then she'll get distracted. Well, I'm like that. That's how I can be with books at times. Like, I'm interested in a book, and then all of a sudden I'll get distracted by another book, and there's, like, these memes going around where it's like, ooh, another chapter. I mean, okay, I'm done with this chapter. Wait, ooh, another chapter. Or there's the one that, that's, ooh, another book. Like, that's me, essentially. But like I said 8. There's a lot of books that I have bookmarks in that I've started to read but haven't continued with. So 8 books. At least one of them I think I'm gonna take with me. Like I said, we're going to South Carolina for spending New Year's with my grandma. Just like I said, just because she was kind of disappointed that we didn't get together for Christmas. She didn't come for Christmas. But I mean, we're trying to protect her. But of course, she doesn't think about that. I love my grandma, and I have all the respect in the world for her, but sometimes she doesn't always listen. So, and then let's get to, okay, so I will buy more books than I get through, and I know my mom gets annoyed by that. Although, like I said, she's finally agreed that I'm going to get at least one other shelf. But she's probably going to remind me, this is the only other shelf I'm going to get. I'm not going to get any more shelves. Or at least I'm, which I'll be prepared for her to say, for reminding me that when we start working on the new shelf. But, which probably won't be until the middle of January. Because I know like I said, we're going to, during the first week of the month, we're going to go see my grandma. And then, so, anyway, because of that, I've decided to kind of try to make a rule for myself, try to control my buying habits. Like, I don't think any of us could ever go cold turkey with not buying books, unless you already don't buy books. You just get them from the library. Those of us who buy books and collect them, I don't think we could ever go cold turkey. We could just limit ourselves. Like, Ashley from Frolic I cannot talk. Ashley from Frolic Through Fiction and made a rule for herself that she has to read at least one or two books before she buys another book. So, I mean, and maybe I should clear it, but I did say on here, read 5 books that I purchased since I have moved here. So that, this does not mean that I have to read 5 books before I buy another one. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to probably do kind of like what she is doing, where she's reading 1 or 2 books before she buys another one. I mean, that's a good thing, though. I'm sure, though, it's probably a good thing that I can't, it's not as easy for me to get to a bookstore. I mean, the one I walked to is, I still have a good walk to do. And it's not a paved road. It's very, so it's still a good distance away, And it's not the best selection. The ones with the best selection are within driving distance. And, unfortunately, with this whole pandemic, the whole public transport is not working out too well for us here because of that. They don't want to, which I can't blame them. I mean, I wouldn't want to be at risk of driving someone that might have the virus, or even if they're not showing symptoms, they might still be contagious. Which is the problem, because there are people that can be carriers, but they just don't show symptoms. That's the thing my mom and sister worry about with my cousins. They're still hanging out with their friends, hugging them and shaking hands, and, the oldest cousin works at a school, and so they're still in contact with people that could easily have it, even if they don't show symptoms. And my cousins might not show symptoms, and I love my cousins and everything, and I want to spend time with them, but they gotta, you gotta draw the line, and even as much as, you can't just because, yes, I want to spend time with my family, yeah, that's beautiful and everything, and I know family is important, but their safety is a little bit more important, because they might, if they get it, they might not be around. Like, my grandma might not be around if she gets it. So, sorry, I'm just, like my mom, I'm frustrated with them. Okay, so, okay, so, I think I did talk about that one already anyway, the purchase books, but like I said 5. I want to read 5 books this quarter that I purchased, which I have a lot of books I purchased, and I'm including both, not just the Roast Office, but all the bookstores I purchased books at, because I've done a lot of book buying, especially now that I have a job, so I have money coming in constantly as long as I'm working. Okay, so this is the one I really want to talk the most about. So the very first goal I have on here, not the first one I talked about, obviously, is I want to read 10 500 plus page books this quarter. So although maybe that's a little bit reaching, but I want to read more books that are big chunky books. I feel like I don't read, and I take forever to get through those, and I want to get through those within a few months. I want to get through at least some of them within a few months, rather than taking a whole year to read them, or longer to read some of these books. Now, of course, 1,000 pages or more than 1,000 pages, yeah, I mean, of course, I'm still gonna take a year or more to get through that amount of pages, especially if it's not the most exciting book in the world. Like if there's moments of mundanity or moments where it's just not a lot is going on, then yeah, that might take me a little bit longer to read. But I want to stop starting 500 plus page books and then not continuing them. I want to get better at that. And I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to try though. I'm going to, and maybe when I'm like, the fact that I'm bringing so many, I'm probably going to bring quite a few books when we go see my grandma, even though I'm only going to get through like a few of them. I'm not going to even finish any of them. I'm probably not going to even finish any of them. That's probably going to mess me up a little bit, but I'm going to try. So yeah, that's my biggest goal, is I want to focus on 500 plus page books more often. Like, yeah, like my yearly goal, I had originally said read a tome every 2 to 3 months. So I want to get better at that. And now, of course, this goal number 4 is actually, my yearly goal for number 4 has actually changed. It is a non-existent goal because of the way, because I changed my shelf so that all the spines are out. Because originally I was kind of doing what Holly from Holly Hart's books, where she turned the spines out. Turn the pages out so that whenever she finishes a book, she shows the spine. She colors her shelf, but that was not working for me. And my mom said, I like this better. Although she's not trying to, she was not, for her it's a little different. For her it's more of a visual thing. For me, it's like showing what I've accomplished, and that wasn't working for me because I was taking too much time. I was being slow at that. So, and of course, I want to read, for another yearly goal, I want to read a classic every month. I don't think I don't have that as a goal specifically for this quarter. But, no, damn it, stop doing that. I don't know what happens when my screen goes black. If you guys see anything, or maybe you don't see anything at all, but I didn't really put that for a quarter goal to read, because I don't know what classics I want to read. I could make a list of classics I want to read, but then I'm always worried that I'm not going to go through with them. Like, I'm not going to read those classics, because I feel like if I talk about them too soon and write it down too soon, it won't happen. Like, I'll change my mind or something, or I'll make the list way too long. I'm trying to look at the 2021 goals, the yearly goals, to see if there's any. Like, it's like Count of Monte Cristo. I want to finish that one. And for goal 2 for the year, I want to read 10 books, but I might change it to like 20 or something. 10 rereads. Because I think I'm gonna go back to making a big goal, because Scott from Gunpowder Fiction and Plot got me excited about going with a goal of a higher number again, which that's the problem. I get all excited. See, when I watch BookTube, I get excited, and or like those are talking book that I need to that I've already started, or a book that I need to continue with, that I've started reading, I want to continue with, or a book that I've been meaning to read, but I haven't yet. And then all of a sudden, they will start talking about, or a book I've decided not to buy, that day. The one, like a day when I went to go to the Books a Million or something, it's the one that I have mean to buy, but I decided to buy, not to buy that day. And then all of a sudden, someone will talk about that book. It's like, damn it! Now I'm going to think I wish I had bought that book, or I'm like, oh, I have to read that book, and like. I opted not to buy. I went to Books a Million the other day because, like I said, we're celebrating a little New Year's Christmas. So my mom had to buy some stocking stuffers because we still do stockings, even though we're all adults. Well, although I don't think Anna is legally an adult yet. She's not 18 yet, and I don't know if Will's 18. He might be 17. I can never keep up with their ages anymore. I don't know if that's an age thing or like I'm getting older. I'm like now in my 30s, 31, despite the fact that I can't eat it up in my room. Although I understand why my mom, I have carpet, so if I'm not careful, I could easily make a mess. And I don't, because I've never lived on my own before. I don't know how to clean a mess in a carpet. I mean, I have an idea. I'm not completely clueless. I'm not like one of those people who doesn't know how to do their own laundry. Because I know how to do that. That was one of the first things that my mom taught me how to do. It's really, once you learn, it's not that hard. I mean, it's a little hard to know certain color, which if you can watch certain colors with whites, like you gotta remember. I mean, I still have to ask, like, do certain colors like light, like baby blue. If I have something that's baby blue colored, or like a yellow color, just like, oh, okay, is this okay to wash with? Will this bleed through like the reds will? And so sometimes it's off that, but I can't do my own. I can do my own laundry. And I can do my own. I can sort of figure out how to clean my rug, but then I'm just a little clueless about some of these things. I still need a little extra help to know exactly what I'm supposed to do to clean my rug, to clean my carpet. It's not a rug, it's a carpet. But yeah, so anyway, okay, why did I bring that up? I don't know why I brought that up. I cannot remember why I wasted time with telling you guys about that. Oh yeah, so I was at Books a Million, and I ended up buying, because my mom and I were getting the stocking stuffers, so I know what's in my stocking. So that's kind of a little like disappointing, because it's like I already know it, so it's not as exciting. But although I can fake it, I can pretend to be. Although truthfully, I don't get like all like, oh my god or something. I'm more quiet about it. Like, surprisingly, my sister heard when I opened my gifts from Terry, which I already knew I was getting, the gifts I had opened, but I kind of quietly said, finally, like, I finally had these 2 movies that I had always wanted that I put on the list, but no one got them for me because they were down at the bottom of the list. And I have a bit of a long list because I'm a greedy little child. And my mom, and which, fine, I get it, it's a long list, so she probably didn't really notice. She only notices what's at the top of the list. So these were kind of at the bottom. And I told Terry, I told her, and be like, look at the very bottom of the list. Because, you're the only one who will do that. And so she got me, so I knew I was getting them, but I was also like, and I said it kind of quietly, but my sister, because she was not far from me. I mean, we have a small living room compared to what we used to have in Maryland. And there's a living room or a family room. You can never know the difference. Because I think living room, you live there, but then family room is where everybody gathers. So I think it's considered a family room. But then, for some reason, the room in my grandma's house that's after the foyer, I'm thinking that's the living. That's I don't. I just have to think about it for a minute. What's the difference? Because we spend time. The only time we go in that one room before the foyer is after the foyer is like for holidays and stuff. And then, but most of the time we are in. Occasionally, the kids will, my cousins will be in there if they wanted, be kept to be alone. And then, but there's the other room that's like where the TV is and where most of us hang out in the kitchen. We're in that room or we're in the kitchen most of the time. But anyway, so again, I keep getting off track. I keep forgetting what I'm. Okay, so like I said, I'm talking about so we got the stocking stuffers, and then I asked her because she had to go to Food Lion to get the food for our New Year's meal, and she was so annoyed by that. She gets so frustrated with her own mom, my grandmother, and she was so mad because she had to get all this stuff, and it's like my grandma, she does know how to cook food and stuff, but I don't know if it really she really doesn't remember, or she's just used to people doing things for her. But my mom was so annoyed by that, and so she was mad that she had to get all this food for that we would take to Charleston, and then we had to get the stocking stuffers. And my cousins, I love them and everything, and I bless their hearts, but it's so hard it can be a little hard to shop for them because I don't know what they're into and what they would like and what's cool, because they're all, like, 2 of them are still teenagers, and so we were able to come up with some stuff, and, like, the older one is kind of a reader, doesn't read as much as I do still, but she's a reader, and she's gone into Harry Potter, so we got her some a Harry Potter bookmark, and a few other little things here and there, and we almost got her there's, at Books A Million, there's those games, the meme game, where you can guess the meme, you have to figure out what the meme is. We almost got, but then my mom, when she looked around a little bit more, it was not, she found something that it goes with the meme game that you have to get, so she ended up returning that, which was kind of a disappointment. I didn't see what it was, because I was kind of busy looking at the shelves or books that I wanted to buy for myself. Because as soon as she was like, I'm going to Food Lion, I was like, can I stick around here and look around? She's like, okay, fine, but just don't go crazy. I don't know. Her definition of going crazy with the shopping might be a little different than mine. Because I ended up buying 4 books. But, so, with long story short, I almost bought the Invisible Life of Addie LaRue again, but I am not getting it and passing it off to someone else. So next time I go, I should probably get that one along with those other 3 books that are sequels to Wicked Saints and what's the other one? I don't remember the other one. The sequel to that other book that I read that I really like that has a bit of a controversial opinion. I cannot remember what it's called, but anyway, yeah. So I was watching. I don't know if it was Emmy or Caroline Marie Reed's or someone else, like Elliot Brooks or someone, but one of them started talking about the book, and I was like, damn it, I should have bought that one. Okay, so anyway, yeah, that always happens. And there are so many books that I've started to read, so it's like our book, there's books that I feel like, oh, I should have bought that one too, and, or there's books that I will start and then stop and put it back on the shelf and come back to it later, much later, and suddenly after I've stopped it or it's still been sitting on my shelf, a booktuber will talk about that book, it's like, damn, I gotta read that book too, or I didn't buy that book, I should have bought that one. It's just, I mean, I love watching these videos, and, I really feel like I need to work on, I think the only thing I can do is just not watch anticipated release. Well, I might still watch those, just to know what's coming out, just to have some idea of if there's any sequels to books. Holobox is not what I need to buy, but I haven't bought yet. But like, book hauls, I might need to step back from those. I'm not a huge fan of book hauls anyway, because it's just basically people listing off the books that they've, even though I'll still film them, because I think a lot of people have this problem where they might not like watching that particular video, but they like filming that particular video. Like, I do like talking about the books I just got because I'm excited that I bought them. But I also don't like, I'm not the biggest fan of watching them, and because, and then people will bring up books that people will bring up books that I bought that I haven't bought but I've been meaning to buy, and it's just like, dang it, I should have bought that one, or I wish I could buy that one right now. And like there are some books that like I have not got the first book in the trilogy, the Bartemius trilogy. I still have to get that one, and I don't know, I probably won't get that one from one of the Wilsons, but I might have to get that one for the third books. And there's a movie that I wanted to get. It's not, there's actually a movie I wanted that I didn't get. I mean, I was happy and so excited that I got the 2 from Terry, but there was a particular movie, another movie, a little younger than those 2, that, as in, it came out a little more recently. Those ones came out in the early 2000s or late 90s or something. I don't remember. But there's this one that, the one came out more recently, a few years ago, and so that's what I mean by it's a younger movie, and I want to get it, mainly because there's, like, I love all the actors, but there's the male lead in particular, one hint, Loki, so I'm gonna say it's Loki, but I wanted to get it, this particular movie, but it wasn't, but I didn't get it. I mean, I might potentially still get it from one of the Wilsons, but, if not, I want to buy it, but I feel like I need to at least wait a month before I'm like, can I buy this movie? Because it shouldn't be about the gifts. It's not about the gifts. But, let's face it, we all have things that we would like to receive for Christmas. And we're excited to receive for Christmas, and there's particular things that I want. Because I'm not someone who's going to take the risk of letting someone completely surprise me, because I don't know, because there are particular things that I get excited about that I would like to get that I haven't bought myself. But yeah, so anyway, okay, enough talking about this, enough with this film. I'm gonna shut up and stop talking for now. I've talked about my goals and challenges, probably talked too long and got off topic too many times, like always. So I would love to know what your goals are for this year. Like, what are you thinking about? What you're thinking about you need to work on with your reading. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Click subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell notification below if you want to know when I post new videos. And I hope you are wearing your mask, washing your hands constantly, and staying 6 feet apart from people, because we are not done with this. Yes, there is something that you can get, a shot that you can use, but we still haven't got it. Not everybody has it yet, and it's not gonna be an end all be all cure. It's not a cure for it, and we don't have it, so we're not out of the storm, out of the woods yet. So still follow the rules, please. Whether you believe it or not, consider everybody else first. Before you think, oh, I don't have to worry about it. Why do I believe in this? Just consider other people. Because I'm sorry, there's still people who will not wear the mask, and I think that's selfish. Because whether you believe in this virus or not, or whether you think you're invincible or whatever, or you think, oh, we're out of the woods because now they have something, still, it would be, stop being selfish and just wear the mask. okay? And follow the rules. At least consider other people's feelings for once. And sorry, but I just really get really annoyed, and I'm really frustrated with people, especially because I want to spend time with my family freely without having to worry about getting my grandmother or my nephews or niece sick. I want to spend time with them safely. And I can't do that if people are not following the rules because they think I'm so important that I don't need to follow the rules. But anyway, stay safe and just be kind to everybody. No matter what, just be kind as you can be. Holidays may be over, although not quite over because New Year's is coming up. But once after New Year's is done, still be kind to people. Put in the effort to be kind to people. I know that people are annoying. There are still people that annoy me, and I will roll my eyes at people and be like, say comments under my breath. And I'm not, or like I'm rude without paying it. I can be rude and because I'm not paying attention. So just put in your best effort in trying to be kind to people, and try to think before you act or before you speak. And I'm going, like I said, and once again, I'm gonna shut up now, and I'm gonna talk to you guys later. All right, bye.